Yes, Judge.
All right, we are on the record in 2024. We are on the record in Greenwood County case number 2024, CR 26, State of Kansas versus Jordan Alicia Denny. Please announce appearances.
May it please the court, the state appears by Jill Gillette, County Attorney.
William McClendon for the defendant, who appears via Zoom from a separate location.
Yes, and that separate location would be the Greenwood County Courthouse. We are here on a bond revocation motion filed by the county attorney, in which it's alleged that the defendant has violated her probation. Her bond, thank you. That was filed back February 23rd, but Ms. Gillette, you still wish to proceed, is that correct?
Judge, Ms. Denny, yes, we do wish to proceed. Ms. Denny has been having ongoing contact with Tyler Goodwin. She has was ordered in her bond to not have contact with him. Not only does it say in the printed form the defendant will not have contact with co-defendants directly or indirectly, but it's specifically written in here, no contact with Tyler Goodwin. And she has had ongoing contact with him. We have witnesses here today. They've continued to have ongoing contact, and she was arrested in Butler County with Tyler Goodwin. We have attached the affidavit of Deputy Billy Cole. He is with us today, and responded to a subpoena. When you set this yesterday, we got right with Deputy Cole so that we could get him on here by Zoom today. And she was booked into the Butler County Jail operating a motor vehicle. So our request is that she have her bond revoked for having ongoing contact with Mr. Goodwin, and continuing to commit more crimes. Not only was she arrested there for interference with law enforcement, she also had no valid driver's license. So those are, crimes that have been committed over in Butler County, as well as the ongoing contact. The witnesses stand ready to testify.
Very well. Mr. McClendon, does your client contest these violations and wish to have an evidentiary hearing?
Not to my knowledge, no, Judge.
All right, then let me visit with you, Ms. Denny. Do you deny these allegations and wish to have an evidentiary hearing wherein Ms. Gillette would have the responsibility of putting on witnesses if she can and showing these alleged violations?
No, Your Honor.
So you do agree that these violations took place as alleged?
Yes, Your Honor.
Is anyone making you enter this admission today by any threats or promises? I'm sorry?
Your Honor.
And do you understand that if I accept these admissions, you could and probably would have your bond revoked?
Yes, Your Honor.
All right, well, so you did have ongoing contact with Tyler Goodwin?
Yes, Your Honor.
And you were booked into the Butler County Jail for driving without a license and interference with law enforcement officer?
Yes, Your Honor.
And I'm not going to get into whether you did or didn't, but as far as those cases are concerned, But I understand, Miss Gillette, you do have the officers who arrested her ready to testify today that they did see her drive without a license and interfere with law enforcement.
Judge Deputy Cole is here and present.
Okay.
Sheriff Samuels is also here with knowledge for Greenwood County information.
All right, well, I will accept the defendant's waiver of hearing on this motion to revoke bond, as well as her stipulation to the truthfulness of the violations. Recommendations, Ms. Gillette, now that I'm finding her in violation of her bond?
Judge, it's the state's recommendation that she be placed in the Greenwood County Jail. Mr. Goodwin is also in the Greenwood County Jail right now because he had missed court and was issued a warrant. So we'd ask that they have no contact while they're in the Greenwood County Jail, no sending messages with anyone. And that the defendant have a new bond established, and that a requirement of the new bond continue to be no contact with the co-defendant. Technically, having contact with Mr. Goodwin in Butler County could be additional new charges of violation of the protective order that says no contact with each other. So she could have additional charges for having that contact. And we'd ask that any new bond require GPS location on her.
Mr. McClendon, your recommendations?
I would agree with Jill, and we would just ask for a new bond on our part. My client, she's having to help take care of her little brother, and she's also got a couple job interviews lined up, is what she told me, and she's also looking at possibly getting in some kind of rehab here soon, and assessments for those facilities.
She has some very serious charges, multiple charges, like 8 felonies, 1 misdemeanor, and her bond was set at $47,500, made by Big Fish bail bonds. She hasn't complied with that. I'm inclined to make her bond I'm going to make her bond $90,000, cash or surety required. No contact with Tyler Goodwin while they're in the jail, while one of them is out of jail, under any circumstances. No contact. Don't write, don't social message, don't pass notes, don't tell someone in the jail to give each other a message. If need be, I'll have you put in separate facilities. And do we have a hearing set for her?
We do. Her hearings April 26th at 1:30 for preliminary hearing control.
Are you able to attend that, Mr. McClendon, and take this case full time?
Yes, you said the 26th at what time?
1:30.
1:30.
That's the
Okay,
regular
okay,
PH.
the Friday afternoon. Okay,
I
Yeah.
think he has probably.
I have Miss
another-
Lacey on that one
Yeah.
as well.
Okay.
Yeah, I just got appointed to this case yesterday, so I haven't even received discovery, so
All right.
that's where I'm
So,
at on that.
Sheriff Samuels, if you would please have you or your assistants take Miss Denny into custody, please.
Judge, are you going to require GPS or not?
Yes,
Just so
yes, GPS. I meant to say that. That was the other thing that was, I meant to say GPS, no contact, no violations of the law, standard conditions. Sheriff Samuels, can you hear me? Missy, can you contact someone to take her into custody down there?
He may have walked over to the courtroom.
All right. Miss Denny, do you have an officer there with you now?
No.
Yeah.
Okay, all right. She needs to be taken into custody. Thank you, Sheriff. All right.
Yeah.
Now, I'm going to recess this case, but Mr. McClendon, Miss Gillette, I want to visit with you. You mentioned Miss Lacy. We had what's her case number? Anybody have that?
Let's see if
Area
I got it.
24 CR 25, Judge.
25. We're going to go on the record in Greenwood County Case 24 CR 25, State of Kansas versus Ariel Lacy. The defendant is not here because this is just something that came up just moments before this hearing, and I wanted to follow through on it. There was a passionate plea to get her into, I believe, Hannah's house the other day and to convince me to modify the surety bond to OR. Y'all remember that?
Yes, ma'am.
It's come to my attention that she had a hold on her at that time from Sedgwick County. Did you folks know that?
I did not, Judge.
All
I
right,
didn't either, Judge.
okay. Well, apparently she did. Sheriff Samuels, do you know about that? Can you tell us about that?
They didn't currently actually have a hold on her. It was basically when we were releasing her from custody, we checked for warrants and a warrant popped on her. And that's when Sedgwick County did indicate that they would like to take her back over there for that.
And
So
did they take her back?
they did.
Yeah. Do I have?
I heard a rumor that she may have bonded out of there on an OR. Do you know about that?
I have not heard that yet.
All right.
I haven't had any contact with her, Judge, either.
Well, we need to figure out if she went to Hannah's house or not. And if she didn't, she's in violation of her OR bond for Greenwood County. And I would like for her to be taken into custody. So, Miss Gillette, could you check that out for us with Hannah's house?
I'm looking at the Sedgwick County case real quick, Judge, because that's what I was pulling that up. It looks like she failed to appear on a summons over there, and they may have issued a warrant for her in Sedgwick County. And her warrant was returned on 3/20 today. It was filed. Basically, a sheriff said they got it processed and had put it into the computer system for the return on her warrant. And so she did have a warrant posted into the Sedgwick County case.
My sources are right. She's already OR'd on that.
And
She says 2500 OR in the computer system.
Okay.
So she was supposed to go directly to Hannah's house. And on ours, the order specifically says for her to go to Hannah's house as a condition and do her treatment there. So I don't know if Mr. McClendon can call to try to get a hold of her. I can try to do some checking.
You
But
have to do both too.
Okay.
I'm
Because
checking with my contact that I have her with her, Miss I believe it's Miss Becky Criswell, sorry. She's the you guys know of her.
she's the one that
and-
set up the arrangements, I think. It was, she was supposed to be the one that drove her down there, so.
Okay.
Anyway, if she's not doing that, I'd like to order picking her up and bringing her back in violation of her bond. But maybe that's why they OR'd her in Sedgwick, is to let her go ahead and do what we did. All right, thank you all. We'll be in recess.
Thank you, Judge.
Thank you.
Yep.
3 CR 30002 in, let's see, State of Kansas versus Aubrey K. Maxwell, and 2024 TR 29 State of Kansas versus Aubrey Kalen Maxwell. The first is for preliminary hearing, and then the other is misdemeanor control. So, Ms. Shirley?
Yes, Your Honor. The county attorney and I spoke yesterday. I'm still, I don't think we've seen the fentanyl. My client still asserts that those are allergy tablets, and I haven't seen anything to indicate what they are. Ms. Gillette was going to check, and we were going to try to come to an agreement to resolve both cases. So hopefully that can be done within the next 30 days.
Well, that's been a full 5 months and you don't have any labs yet, Ms. Gillette?
Well, the lab moved, and so it delayed us a little extra, so.
Are they up and running there at Pitt State or not?
If you drive them over to them, they take them in person, but right now they're not allowing any mail. All mail has to go to Topeka. It depends upon whether they mailed them or they're driving them over to Pittsburgh, but they halted any mail. So I know they're running. If you go in person, there's the backlog they're trying to catch up on, I think, from the move.
Well, I would guess if they went in October, they probably mailed them, but I don't know.
Well, they stopped the mailing in, I want to say February. So anyway.
So you're wanting this continued till when?
Do you want the April 12th, Marianne, or do we want to go out further?
I just need to see some results. This wasn't field tested. So, I have blue pills that look just like them that are my sleeping pills. So I don't know, the 12th is fine, or when's the next one?
The next one's the 26th.
Right now, I'm good for either one of those days.
Well, let's put it on the 26th. Surely they'll be back by then. All right. So, Ms. Maxwell, you'll be continued on the bond in both cases. All existing conditions and the added condition that you reappear by Zoom April 26th at 1:30.
Yes, ma'am.
All right.
Your Honor, I might advise the court, she is in treatment. She's doing very well. She's at Miracles in Wichita. We need to reaffirm that she have no contact with Mr. Jacob Michael.
Oh, absolutely.
Yes, ma'am.
I think that could just, yeah, absolutely. No contact.
Jurisdiction has to change.
All right.
Make sure.
Thank you.
You may go at this time, Miss Maxwell, and Miss Shirley. Is that all you had? No, yes.
That's all I've got today. Thank you, Your Honor.
You're welcome. We'll now be on the record in Lacey, that is 2024 CR 25, State of Kansas versus Ariel May Lacey, Jill Gillette, County Attorney for the state, and the defendant in person, and with Counsel William McClendon. Mr. McClendon, how does your client wish to proceed today?
Well, Your Honor, we're kind of trying to work out some kind of placement. She's been accepted to Hannah's house in Independence, Kansas, and she has a bed there waiting for her today if she can get released today. So I guess
I've
Go
been
ahead, Jill.
waiting a confirmation, like a letter from Hannah's house and a letter from the treatment facility that she's going to be being transported back and forth to do her treatment. I haven't gotten the letter yet, and I've been asking for it for a couple of weeks. I know that she was screened at the jail judge, so if I can get a letter confirmation that she has her bed available, and I know the sheriff was working on trying to help Ariel get that letter.
I can get you the facts.
Her mom is willing to drive her directly to the sober living house, Hannah's house in Independence, for her to start her treatment at the treatment facility there. I believe she's recommended for the outpatient treatment there and living.
I thought Hannah's house is one you told me didn't offer treatment, that they had to get that somewhere else.
They're a sober living, and so they drive them to and from the treatment facility there in Independence.
So it's just a house they live in that
It's
watch over them to make sure they don't drink?
It's like an Oxford house. So it's called a sober living is what they call it, because it's not part of the Oxford House chain, but it's basically the same thing. It's a house where they're UA'd, they have breathalyzers there to make sure if their alcohol is their problem. We know Miss Lacey's bigger issue right now is methamphetamines. So they UA them when they come back. They're UA'd weekly, and they transport them to treatment. They have NA and AA meetings that they have to attend. There's individual.
They do that somewhere else, right?
Yeah, they transport.
There's also, we go to church like how many times a week?
Every day.
Every day.
Several
We go to
times a
church
day.
every day. And after the first 4 to 6 months there, because it's a year program, after the first 4 to 6 months, like, okay, the first 2 weeks, I won't be able to make a phone call. And then after the first 2 weeks, I'll be able to make a phone call to my mom and my sister. And then after the first 30 days, I'll be able to go on a weekend pass with my mom, which will be fine. My mom's the one that called the cops when she found the weed in her bathroom. And so my mom is a support, like I won't get into any trouble with her. And then after the first 4 to 6 months, that's when I'm able to start working to get a job. And after having a job for a while, then they help with housing and an apartment, which is really what I need. Because sitting in here and then just being released, I'm worried.
It's their house.
And it's their house.
Who's
Like
giving you advice? Who's your advisor there at the jail? Who's doing all that talking?
right here, my transportation, the church,
Becky Criswell. I do jail ministry here in Greenwood County, and I transport gals that are getting released into Hannah House. I take them over.
and she's trying to get that faxed over right now to you, Miss Jill Gillette, so I can be released today if that's possible, and she would be my transportation.
So you mentioned your mom's your support and she won't let you get into trouble. Your mom has never been able to control you, Miss Lacey. What's happened that she'd be able to now? I mean, you've run away from home, you've defied her orders, you've sneaked out. You've done that for years. What would be different now?
Well, I would have been in the Hannah House for already 30 days before I would even go on. It's just like a day pass, like just to like.
What would make Hannah House any different than any place else you've been that your mom tried to impose rules and you wouldn't follow them? You're an adult. So what would be different?
Well, my mindset is different.
Is it? Okay.
It is.
And I notice you've got a lot of swaying going back and forth, and all the time I've known you, I've never seen you do that. Why are you doing that? If you even are.
I don't know. I'm just nervous. I've been reading the book. I've been reading the Bible, and I put it in God's hands today. And I said that I was going to get out. And Miss Becky, I've been going to church every Sunday, and I'm just feeling good about this. But I'm nervous. I'm nervous.
James Lamont, you need to mute. Well, I'm here to determine if we need a preliminary hearing, first of all. And I presume we don't have any lab reports yet, Miss Gillette?
We don't, Judge. This is a fairly new case. It happened in
January.
January of January.
For the lab, it's new.
Yeah.
So let's take care of the business at hand first, and that is what we're gonna do about prelim. How long do you want to set that over, Miss Gillette?
Judge, I would like to set it, depending upon whether she goes to treatment or whether she's in and trying to get it expedited, which I have not had good luck with the labs getting expedited. If we set it,
Let's set aside the treatment and presume she's not gonna get Yeah, let's just set that aside and assume we're not gonna get the labs for a while. When do you want to shoot?
I
for?
would ask for April 26th.
All right, April
It's okay.
26th
It's okay. He's
at
in
1:30. Who is talking? Was that you again, ma'am?
It could have been, I'm just trying to calm her down a little and
Well,
reassure her.
well, that's well intended, but it's gonna be troublesome if we have to transcribe the hearing and things of that sort.
Yes, ma'am.
I know your intentions are good and I appreciate that, but, all right, so the preliminary hearing is continued April 26th at 1:30. How long have you been in the Greenwood County Jail, Miss Lacy?
Almost 2 months.
Almost 2 months. How much is almost? You probably know how many days, or do you?
I've been in here for 44 days, so exactly a month and a half, really.
She came in 131 of 24, Judge.
Okay.
She was in for all of February and 15 days of March.
And that's the longest you've been in custody, Miss Lacy?
Yes, ma'am.
Were you living with your mom when you were arrested on these charges?
I was in Wichita for about a year, and then my mom asked me if I wanted to come back home, and I had jumped out of a vehicle. I wasn't doing very good, and I was in the hospital for a month, and then I had just gotten back at my mom's, and that's when she found that I had pot in the bathroom, and she had called the cops.
And she's still with your stepdad?
Yes,
They've been together a long time, as I recall.
yes.
Are you with any of the guys right now?
No,
And the last time you used was before you went into jail?
yes.
You haven't had anything while you were in jail?
Have I had anything while I was in here?
Yeah.
No, no,
Okay,
ma'am.
all right. Well, I hear conflicting reports about people in custody, so I'm just checking. Which I wouldn't expect you to tell me the truth if you had, to be honest. Not just you personally, but other inmates as well. And you've got a bed available, you're telling me, is that right? They've got
Yes,
the paperwork ready to send you?
yes.
And your bond's been set and apparently you haven't been able to make it?
I won't be able to, ma'am.
What do we set that at?
5,000 cash surety.
Well, that's pretty reasonable. That's not out of hand.
I was gonna ask to modify that to OR bond if we could, Judge.
Can you check the email and see if I got an email from there?
Miss Gillette,
Sorry, Judge, I was checking to see if I was getting a fax or an email regarding Miss Lacy.
well, I was just gonna say, you and I both know how hard it is to keep up with her if she doesn't want to stay put.
I've been doing a lot better. I really have. I have been doing better. I haven't gotten any trouble. I slipped
Yeah,
up.
you've been in jail.
Well, no, beforehand. I haven't seen you in a minute, Miss Webster. I've been doing okay. I haven't been around any men to get me into any, like, not blaming it on them, but I've been keeping to myself. And I know I do have a lot of growing up to do, but I really think that this Hannah house would be really good for me. And even if I was OR'd out, that's where I would go. I would go to the Hannah house. I want to go to my mom's. I would go to the Hannah house because
I think I've ever had anybody go there that didn't have children. So apparently you don't have to have children to go there, Miss Gillette? Okay.
No, Judge, when I was, a defense attorney several years ago, I sent my own clients there. I'm very familiar with Hannah House. I know we have some moms from sync cases in there that are working reintegration plans, but you don't have to have children to be in Hannah's house. They kind of run a tight ship, and if you're using, they make a report and you're out. They won't have people there that are encouraging others to use. They run a pretty tight ship, and it's even more intense than back when I was sending clients there, which was 6 years ago or so.
Yeah, we know.
I don't have a question about Hannah's house. I just wanted confirmation that she has a bed there. So that's the only thing I'm really looking for is that confirmation. I'm very familiar with the program from my time over in the 14th and 31st judicial districts. And
But you're also
Um,
very familiar with her.
I am extremely familiar with Miss Lacey, and I really hope this program works for her.
Now, she
Thank
could
you.
disappear on us down there and
She's very young, and she's been through a lot being very young. So,
how old are you now?
I just turned 21 in January.
Oh, you're 21. I was thinking maybe you were 20, but you gained a year on me. Okay. Well, sounds like the county attorney is willing to take a risk on you.
Thank you, Judge Lett. Thank you.
If we get confirmation and your mom's going to drive you down there,
Miss Becky is here and she could take me now.
okay. Now, Miss Becky, do you know that this is a girl that tends to disappear real quickly?
Yes, ma'am, I do.
And you heard that she even knows how to jump out of cars while they're moving. So
Okay, I was going through something, Miss
you
Webster.
don't
Like,
have, no, your attorney probably doesn't want you going down that path right now.
They'll do that.
no, okay.
All right, so if Miss Becky drives her straight there and she stays put, follows the rules, I will agree that when they're ready to drive her down there, we can modify this to an OR bond.
Miss Webster, I love you. You are my favorite judge.
You do, but your favorite what?
My favorite judge.
That's not what you said, is it?
Yeah, I swear that is what I said.
All right, that's not what I heard, but I hope it is what you said. All right.